remain standing for a moment of silence. And I apologize that I missed this at our meeting last week, but to recognize Pat Saracen, who we lost on December 20th after a long illness. She, a 41-year resident of Madison, truly dedicated to the quality of education to our young citizens and the students of Madison. She was a member of the Board of Education for 23 years and served many of those years as president. So please take a moment to reflect on the great life of Pat Saracen. Thank you. I have a motion for the executive minutes of December 12th, 2016.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and a motion for the regular minutes of December 12th, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Welcome. Happy New Year for those that missed our meeting last Monday. And welcome everyone, our council members, to your new seats. We've rearranged for the new season. It takes a little while to get used to new angles and all that. And last Monday, as we were gathered here for the annual reorganization meeting, we had a great turnout for a different tradition, maybe, of a 5 o'clock on the 2nd, as we thanked Rob Catanello for his 6 years of service to this body, and we swore in Maureen Byrne, and now get to take your seat in the first regular meeting. And Pat Rowe, congratulations again on your second term. And I want a special thanks to Javier Vieira, the Dean of Drew School of Theology, who delivered our devotion. Also our Madison Police Department Color Guard for presentation of the colors. Captain Jeff Pettit, retired from the United States Coast Guard, and my mouth is not used to the new year yet, I guess. Also a member of our Patriotic Celebrations Committee who led our Pledge of Allegiance. Elizabeth Monkmeyer, Madison High School student who led the Star Spangled Banner despite fighting a cold. And I don't want to forget, right to my left here, Liz Osborne. As many of us are taking a little time off over the holidays, the week between Christmas and New Year's is pretty chaotic here as we put everything together, get all the final appointments, get everything printed. And last Monday was a holiday for our staff, and you and your staff gave up time to make it happen.
Very
so
much.
thank
That's
you.
very good.
And the employee for the month of January is Frank Russo, Assistant Borough Engineer, for his commitment and dedication in taking on the interim assignment and responsibilities of acting DPW Superintendent due to the retirement of David Maines, while we go through the search process. Also, the anniversary for January, Police Chief Darren Dotchison, 25 years. Doesn't look old enough for that. On January 28th. So if you see Darren, congratulate him on his anniversary. Library report. The Madison Public Library trustees will hold the annual reorganization meeting this Thursday at the 12th at 7:30 in the library's Chase Room. And recently, the library upgraded its public wireless system with funding provided by the Friends of the Library. This is an important upgrade to the library's technology infrastructure, so many more library patrons are using a wireless system. And reports from the public have been very positive. And upcoming programs for this month include on Monday the 16th at 7:30, Monday Night Book Club. Tuesday the 17th at 1 o'clock, Bestsellers Book Club. Sunday, the 22nd at 2 p.m., the Frost Kings, and an afternoon of swing and R&B music. And the Children's Department schedule of programs begins next week for the season. And the next session of Drew University mini courses, co-sponsored by the Friends of the Library, will be starting later this month. Initial courses are In Search of Visual Language, a digital photography and social media in the 21st century, presented by Jim Del Judas. He has been doing that course or a similar one quite often. And then also great art exhibitions you might have missed, presented by Barbara Tomlinson. And then another one, Aesthetics, Pietro my Italian. The operas of Giuseppe Verdi, presented by Robert Butts, and the Aesthetics of Philosophy of Art, presented by Eric Anderson. Further information is available at www.drewminicourses.org. And then, of course, thanks to all local residents who supported the recent Friends of the Library annual campaign. Your contributions make it possible for Friends to support the library's collection, programming, and special projects. Thank you. And now, reports from committees. Public Works and Engineering, Ms. Vitale.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a report from engineering. We're going to start with the buildings. Hartley Dodge Memorial improvements, the front plaza site work, and the East Wing building restoration by Clark Caton Hintz was submitted to the County of Morris Historic Preservation Trust last Friday, January 6th, as part of the grant process. Asbestos sampling within the East Wing affected by the restoration project has been completed by TTI Environmental, and a remediation project is anticipated prior to initiating the building restoration work. Bids for the soil removal and site remediation at the rear of Hartley Dodge Memorial was due on January 24th. There's also signal improvements at Sampson Avenue and Kings Road, and they've been evaluated to increase the visibility and reduce glare. Associated work may be authorized later this month. As far as the roads are concerned, the 2017 road improvement plans and specifications prepared by the staff are ready for bid and can be advertised upon appropriations. Current anticipated advertising date is January 26. Central Avenue plans and specifications are being finalized in the next month, and a separate appropriation request with an agreement with the County of Morris will be requested at that time. The Prospect Street reconstruction has been completed, and the initial grant reimbursement request of $129,375 has been submitted to the state. The reimbursement payment is likely to be received in February. A grant application of $80,000 was submitted to the Morris County Community Development Block Grant for Plain Street improvements, which are curbs, sidewalks, utilities, paving. That was presented on December 15. A presentation by Madison to the county is scheduled February 27th at 7 p.m. Grant applications to NJDOT local aid are being prepared and will be submitted for Greenwood Avenue and Phase 2 bike route improvements by February 3rd deadline. Sanitary sewers. Rapid Pump and Meter Company is starting their work on North Street Pump Station on March the 6th to be completed by July 25th. Storm sewer work is being done on Elmer Street and should be ready for bid and advertisement and will occur on or before January 26th, along with the road improvement projects. The Parks Department is requesting boundary and topographic surveys of Summerhill Park, and they're requesting in conjunction with various improvements and funding applications anticipated later this year. The Lane Company has been awarded redevelopment work on Well D and started work disassembling the well head last week and investigating pump and motor conditions. Report on the well is anticipated this month. Design work for Well A renovation has been initiated and plans are anticipated by this summer. Well A and B are both scheduled for improvements once the development work on Well D is complete. I have a very nice report from Frank Russo, who has been the interim superintendent down at DPW. Transitioned from David Maines to interim superintendent of Public Works and preparing for new superintendent. DPW responded to 1 sanitary sewer call-out and 4 weather-related icing and snow call-outs. Winter help assisted in completing leaf removal in Borough parks, leaf collection winding down. DPW is using new hotbox for pothole repairs in commuter parking lot, Kings Road, Burnett Road. Took receipt of a free firewood delivery from Honor Tree for the skating rink. Sewer Department is installing water quality inlet heads on those roads scheduled for milling and overlaying in 2007. New manhole castings and lids ordered for those roads as well. They collected all the benches from the borough parks for the annual refinishing. They will be removing the DDC art poles this week, and the Water Department prepared a list of buried, damaged, filled water valve boxes resulting from Morris County resurfacing of Shumpike Road project in December's. They repaired the salters and the plows during and after the snow events. They welded body repairs and floor replacement road department. Set up chipper bodies for Christmas trees, picking up trees from January 9th to January 20th. They performed scheduled maintenance to 20 vehicles, police department and DPW. Set up and took down all the Waverly Place holiday directions, and they had to repair a DPW sanitary line. Sanitary pump station safety improvements at Candlewood were also taken care of. They also installed a new 8,000-gallon diesel tank and was installed and is operational. The existing tank has been converted to unleaded. That's going to help in an event like we had for Sandy. One of the things that we do here in Madison is in 2015 that we entered into a shared service agreement with Chatham Borough with the building and construction, and it's been absolutely awesome how well they have done there. In 2015, they issued 1,715 permits. In 2016, it was up like 1% of that. So what they did is for 2015, they had UCC permit fees of $611. In 2016, it went to $917,645, which is a 20% increase. DCA fees also increased 22%. CO fees also increased 24%. And penalty fees were down a little bit, which means that we're all doing a better job at things. So the total revenue went from $758,312 in 2015 to $1,015,825, which is a 15% increase. This is a great department doing some really great work, and I think they deserve to let everybody know how hard they are working. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Public Safety, Mr. Landrigan.
Thank you, Mayor. For the fire department, in the month of December, the fire department responded to 126 calls for assistance. They're broken down as follows: 39 general alarms, 15 still alarms, 29 investigations, and 43 EMS calls. 1 department drill was held in December. 47 fire prevention inspections were conducted, and 16 residential resale smoke alarm CO inspections were done. For the 2016, there were 1,361 responses, and they're broken down as follows: 228 general alarms, 218 still alarms, 332 investigations, 532 EMS calls, and in total, 24 departmental drills were held. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Finance and Borough Clerk, Ms. Bailey.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. From the clerk's office, in anticipation of the June 6th primary election, the filing deadline for nomination petitions for municipal office is April 3rd, 2017. The forms are available in the Borough Clerk's office. Voter registration forms as well as mail-in ballot applications are also available in the Borough Clerk's office or online at morriselections.org. From the Finance Department, a number of actions will happen this evening as part of the 2017 budget process. First, the budget guidelines created during the 2014-15 strategic planning process will be adopted this evening by Council. These guidelines create various metrics that the Council uses to make sure the budget is sustainable and in good order. So please, I hope my fellow Council members will vote for them. Second, we will talk about the 2017 budget schedule. Similar to last year, there will be a number of hearings and presentations to Council over the coming weeks. The goal is to formally introduce the budget in March with hearing and adoption in April, and this schedule is mandated by state statute. Finally, a number of capital items will be discussed this evening, including the cancellation of completed capital ordinances and introduction of funding ordinances so we can get a head start on the 2017 road projects. From the Chief Financial Officer and from the Tax Assessor, January 4th, 2017 was the final cutoff date established by Morris County to make any changes to the 2017 tax book before it closed. Tax appeals are often settled at the end of the year as the property owner wants the appeal effective for the following year. Because of this, the tax assessor was very busy with meetings and conferences with applicants that were interested in settling cases before they went to tax court. As a result, approximately 70% of the cases that the borough had from the beginning of the year were resolved, the large bulk of these being residential cases. There are at present 2 open residential cases. We also settled several large commercial cases. The commercial cases that were not resolved were the result of several factors. On some of them, we just were too far apart on our opinions of the values, and on others, taxpayers' attorney have not yet provided the appropriate discovery that was asked for to analyze the property. From accounting and purchasing, the borough uses a sophisticated system called Edmunds to manage the budget, control all purchasing, and issue payments to vendors. Every year, extensive year-end maintenance is required to prepare the system for the upcoming year. The department has been working diligently and hopes to have the process complete by the end of the week. And from the payroll department, similar to purchasing, the payroll department has been working on a significant number of year-end maintenance projects. In addition to those annual tasks, the staff have also completed the quarterly IORC report. IROC stands for Internet-Based Report of Contributions, and the quarterly process requires that the borough review and approve the pensions contributions for every employee. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Utilities, Mr. Wolkowitz.
Thank you, Mayor. The last 25 hydrants that couldn't be flushed due to leaf pickup are now done, and that means the entire town is done, which is always good news with winter coming on earnestly this year, so we're in good shape. Fire hydrant at 14 Loveland was repaired and is now operational. There was a 1-inch water tap and service line that was installed at 286 Kings Road. Work has begun on the redevelopment of Well D. The motor was pulled, column was pulled, and the 3-stage pump from the well casing. So that's something we talked about quite a while ago, and it's well underway. Curve boxes were dug and replaced. This is sort of standard work that goes on throughout the year. There were some curb boxes that were checked. 4 demos of water shutoff and meters pulled. The demo just means it's taken out. And finally, the testing of our water continues throughout the year, winter or not. So we continue to do important testing of the quality of our water. As for the electric department, they performed a power shutdown for Drew University to allow for maintenance of Drew's equipment. They installed a new transformer on Shunpike Road. They performed line clearance and repaired primary voltage cable on Seven Oaks Court. They installed the pad mount transformer at Ewell, constructed the riser pole conduits, installed primary voltage cable and terminations on the Ewell transformer as well. Between what I had to say and Councilwoman Vitale, you can see that our wells are getting a lot of attention this year. We also had streetlight repairs, some service upgrades, and several mark-out requests. Thank you.
Thank you. And Health, Mr. Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 quick things. First, the flu vaccine is still available at the Health Department, and it's not too late to receive a shot for the year. Weekly reports of statewide illnesses report moderate to high incidence of flu in our areas. Visits to emergency rooms and acute care facilities have been higher than usual in recent weeks. And second, the Zika virus infection monitoring in residents of Madison and contracting towns continues. Providers assess patients with risk factors for Zika infection, submit to local health department who determines eligibility for testing as per New Jersey Department of Health guidelines. To date, all of the cases have been negative. Thank you.
Thank you. And Community Affairs, Ms. Byrne.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Senior Center, turbines, our first TCAP workshop last October generated enough enthusiasm that a second session is being held on Thursday, January 19th, beginning at 10 o'clock. TCAPs are turbines made from T-shirts and decorated to appeal to men, women, and children who are chemotherapy patients at the Carol G. Simon Cancer Center. Instructions and lunch are provided, and donations of T-shirts and decorative accessories are welcome. And then nutrition, Jennifer Luster, registered dietitian, continues her monthly healthy cooking series with winter soups to keep you warm on Wednesday, January 18th at 1 o'clock. Participants watch the preparations and then sample the final result while learning about nutritional content and cooking tips. And from the DDC, they will be holding their reorganization meeting on Thursday, January 19th at 7:15. The public is invited, and the public is encouraged to put the Taste of Madison on their calendar. The taste will be held on Monday, March 20th at the Park Avenue Club. The Taste of Madison supports the DDC, the Rotary, and the Chamber of Commerce, and is a really fun event. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any communications or petitions?
None received, Mayor.
And now we're on to the first of two invitations for discussion. This is limited to items that are on the agenda discussions, which include today the budget schedule, the 2017 road program and mill and overlay, and water mains, the cancellation of completed capital improvements, and municipal employee indemnification ordinance. Or you may comment on any of the resolutions that are on the consent agenda. Anyone wishing to comment on those items, please step forward, state your name, your address, and write the same on the clipboard, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Anyone wishing to speak right now on those topics? Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting. And on to agenda discussions, 2017 municipal budget schedule. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Proposing a schedule similar to last year, and in a minute I'm going to pull up actual RoseNet so people can see a page on there called Annual Budget Process, which talks about the process that we had last year and shows every date. Last year we had information and presentations that were given to Council January 25th, 3 meetings in February. If we recall, we added a third evening meeting in February, the first a Monday evening in February. And then in March, as Councilwoman Bailey said, we will have the introduction of the state budget document. That's a state mandated in time frame that we have to comply with, and then adoption in April. So one of the first questions I would have for council is the ability to make or attend another meeting in February. The requested one would be the first Monday in February. What is that, Liz? Is that February
6th.
6th?
And we would plan on a 7 o'clock start. Is that...
How does that sound with everyone?
I know I need to go to Europe at some point in February, but I don't have a date from the person who's scheduling the meeting, so I can't say one way or another when I can't be here. But I'll probably be gone for a week.
Okay. I think I pressed the button. Yeah, here it is. It's coming to the left. So I had conferenced with council liaison, Councilwoman Bailey and Vitale, to discuss the general schedule. We'll follow a similar schedule to what we did last year. We'll open up with a refinement of open space and a discussion of the 5-year capital plan. You'll receive the 5-year capital plan in the next few days from Bob Vogel and I. Early February will be the launch of one of the big presentations that we have, because it's going to cover the utility budget, utility capital. You'll get your black books, which have all the different budget line items, and you'll see an initial budget summary. We'll also talk about tentative utility dividend at that point in time. The following meeting in February will be department head presentations. If you recall, last year we had a number of department heads that came in. They spoke briefly about their budget, about their capital needs, about their goals and objectives for the year. And then February, the last meeting in February, we'll have kind of a final review of the budget information and a more substantive and final numbers that will come out and a more substantive discussion of the utility budget. We'll have time if we need to in early March to have another discussion if we need to sneak one in. If not, it'll be the regular first meeting in March where we'll introduce the budget. I wanted to just, any questions with that? I wanted to just show this to everyone here, and council I know is aware of it, but there's a very good page that we've developed over the last year on RoseNet, which is called the annual budget process. And if you want to go back and look at anything that was presented in prior years, or what is going to be presented this upcoming year, you can find it on that page. So how do you find it? And I'm just going to have to turn around because I can't do this. So you'll just navigate, sorry, I don't know what you're saying. You'll just navigate to the page, and then you'll choose departments, and you'll choose finance. And if you scroll down like this, whoops, I'll just click departments. It's going to be easier. Let's click departments, go to the finance, and you'll see a page called annual budget process. So it's that simple. If you click to that, you'll see kind of a scrolling process. Here's all of 2016. From December 14th through March 14th, there were presentations given to council. Additional information other than presentations is added to this page, such as information that's submitted to the state of New Jersey, like the unaudited financial statements and the annual debt statement. And you'll actually see that we've already started the 2017 budget process because we did have a discussion about the electric utility on October 24th, a presentation on the ordinance to establish the financial performance adjustment program, the dividend, if you will. And then we had a draft presentation in December on the capital plan and open space. So this page will just continue to build on it. The next presentations we have will just kind of build right along here. So any point in time you're going, geez, I didn't get a copy of that. Where's that information? It'll go up here. For example, the budget guidelines that you're going to vote on tonight, they'll be up there tomorrow if anybody wants to see them. So we'll also, to expand transparency, we'll put posts on RoseNet and posts on Facebook drawing residents' attention to that document. We have the great, simple two-pager that goes out later on in the year, but what we're trying to do is show the residents that the budget process is a long process. It's an open process when people attend, and that there's a lot of information that they can look at. Any questions?
Very good. Any questions? Okay. Thank you. So again, just as a reminder for everyone to put Monday, February 6th at 7 p.m. on your calendar. Also speaking to those that are watching this at home on their TV in a couple of days. 2017 road program, mill and overlay, water mains.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Similar to the process that we had last year in terms of getting the ordinances completed early for the road improvement projects, we're duplicating that process again this year in January. Overall, the objective is through a month of 6 weeks to 2 months of bidding and a month of contracting. We run out of time quickly in order to get the road improvement projects done during the 3 months of the summer, and so getting the appropriations done very early in the season, January at the latest, February, is very advantageous to the town. So we're doing that again. The first of 3 of the ordinances that we're requesting this year are for road reconstruction. The Tracy Lane, Valeview, Gibbons, Lathrop, Park Lane, Howell, and Locust Street design plans are completed. They're ready for bid. We've got the cost estimates completed. In fact, we had those pretty much done in October of this year, and so they are ready to go. And we'd like to advertise as soon as the appropriations are done. The sum total amount of the request for those 7 roads and a number of smaller requests for inspection and for police time total amount of $1,330,000 even from the General Capital Improvement Fund. If there's any questions about that particular ordinance request, feel free, and if not, we can move on to the next.
Any questions?
Okay, the next one is the mill and overlay and resurfacing portion of the road improvement program. Mill and overlay projects for the year will include a portion of Kings Road, Fairwood Road in its entirety, Maple Ave, Redmond Drive, Oxford Lane, Prospect Place, a portion of Lorraine and West End. Also includes a number of roadway resurfacing and maintenance items which require separate contracts for signs, striping, curb replacement, concrete sidewalk, and curbing, and crack sealing and potentially micro sealing. The sum total request for all those road improvement line items is $1,136,000 even. Any questions? Any questions about those? Now's the time. Otherwise, we can move on to water. Yep.
Good? Oh, one
Sure, Ben.
question. Go ahead, Ben.
Just a quick question about Kings Road. When you said a section, which section?
Well, we basically had split Kings Road up into 6 different sections based on the pavement condition survey that we did this past summer. And this particular section is Kings Road from Cross Street to Seaman Street. Okay? So the third appropriation request item is for water capital. Again, these water capital items are strictly related to the road improvements. There will be a separate and subsequent request for other water capital line items later in the season, perhaps towards April when the entire budget is approved. But for now, the road-related items which we have to advance are related to Gibbons water main replacement, Lathrop water main replacement, Howell Street water main replacement, and Locust Ave water main replacement. The sum total request for those 4 streets where water mains are being replaced is $400,000. Any questions?
And so for this year, those will be water main and quickly followed by reconstruction, full reconstruction.
That's correct, Mayor. So we'd like to complete those in the same year. Actually, last year we had done that through Cifelli and a subcontract that he had, Revex, who was a separate utility contractor, and in fact worked out quite well.
Yeah.
So we'd like to duplicate that if we possibly can.
Eliminating that time in between.
Eliminating a year in between, yes. Yeah, no, challenging. We're going to get back on the schedule where we can keep all those utility improvements a year ahead of time. We have other challenges with public service that we have to deal with, but for now, we'd like to get those water mains replaced at the same time. One caveat on the request to date is that Central Avenue is not included in those requests. Once we get the plans and specs completed and ready for bid, we will be back to you for a separate request on Central Ave. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. And we have ordinances 1, 2, and 3 that are listed for introduction for all those. And thank you very much for presenting that, Bob. All right, cancellation of completed capital improvement ordinances. Jim.
Paraphrase my father, that Bob Vogel's a spender. In any event, but he gets a lot of projects done. And this is a process that's done annually, typically a little earlier in the year, but we gave Bob a little time off in the fall for take care of some things. So we're going to do it now, which is cancellation of ordinance, capital ordinance. What that means is the project had funds that were appropriated, let's say $500,000 to the road, and Bob's now done fixing that road, and there's $42,000 left over in that ordinance. It's been reserved to fix that road. The road is now complete. That $42,000 gets canceled, that ordinance, and it gets recaptured and brought back into the general capital fund. We do this for the general capital fund, the water capital fund, and the electric capital fund. So there's 3 different funds that we do this with. There's multiple departments that manage these projects, whether it's the library, water, electric, DPW, parks, engineering, and council's received packet of information showing all the active ordinances that are going to stay open, as well as all the canceled ordinances that are going to be listed. And we'll be, by that report for general capital, we'll cancel $420,387.04. For electric capital, a small amount, $4,566.18. And for water capital, we will cancel $20,864.71. Those amounts go into the current balances that we have in the various capital accounts, which I'd given to you via memo in your packet, but I'll read them out. General capital, as of right now, before the cancellation and before the temporary budget as of December 31st, 2016, has a little over $800,000 in it. Water capital has a little over $200,000 in it, and electric capital has $1.1 million. So I know someone might say, wait a minute, Jim, didn't you reserve money for automated meters? That money doesn't count in the numbers I just gave you. These numbers are free funds to be used by the various departments on capital projects. So I'm asking council to approve the cancellation of these ordinances. Any questions?
Any questions?
Pat?
Pat?
How much did you say was in the electric capital budget right now?
How much is in the electric capital? Is on the front page of that. If you got that, Pat, I don't know if you saw it. It's kind of got order.
Oh, there it is, 1 point. So that's 1.1 in addition to the 527,000 of open ordinances?
Correct.
Okay. We may want to ask Mike when he's going to get some of this stuff done, because that's a pretty extensive list at this point.
Yes.
We keep adding money to the list. And
So two things. On the electric capital, the typical process, which we didn't follow last year, first year rookie CFO, the money that we appropriated for substation reserve, we need to pass a separate ordinance to do that. In this upcoming budget, when we talk about it, if you guys decide to continue to do that, I'm going to put it in the state budget document in a different way, so it won't require 2 votes. So that electric capital number is inflated by the fact that last year's amount that we reserved for the substation is still in there. But what's good about this whole process, Pat, is exactly what you said. It shows all the open ordinances. Hey, what's going on? Why is this project still kicking around after 2 years? And yes, Mr. Cody and I will talk to Michael about it, but he'll be here in a couple weeks during his department head budget review, and you can certainly talk to him at that point.
yeah, the one thing I would ask is, I like the idea where you put the status on some of these projects so you can see, are they almost done and there's just some final things waiting, or some of this stuff hasn't even been started. For the electric, it's hard to tell, it just says open. But it would be instructive if it's, with 0% done or a.
Michael did give me that information earlier today, so I can send that to you electronically.
Okay.
But going forward, I want to have a number, I want to have a status and a completion date on all these.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, we should also get an estimated completion date. When do you
Yes.
think they're going to be done? So we can at least see, are they planning to make any progress? Or should we just recapture the money?
Yeah. And then 6 months later, you can ask again, what's the status? And
But I at least
Date's
have,
not
at least
moving.
have it written down.
yes.
It's good project management.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Jim. So this is ordinance 40, which is on a consent agenda. Municipal employee indemnification.
I can take that, Mayor. Our insurance carrier has recommended that on an annual basis, we should take a look at our ordinances that provide protection in the event of a lawsuit against our employees, our elected officials, and our volunteers. So what this is an update as recommended by our carrier to make certain adjustments in concert with the Borough Attorney's Office to improve and strengthen it to make sure that at no time someone acting on behalf of the borough in good faith would be subject to potential liability, and that our carrier would defend that action and any damages that would incur. So that's the purpose of the ordinance.
Any questions? Ostry?
What's the definition of any person who's not a natural person? Is that a company?
Well,
a robot?
It's to exclude, yes, a public body such as a corporation, a limited liability corporation.
Okay.
We want to specifically we want the coverage to apply to employees, our elected officials, and individual volunteers, not the entity that they may be associated with.
Any other questions? So this is ordinance 4, which is listed for introduction. This is the first regular meeting of the year. There are no ordinances for hearings, so we're now on to item 15, which is our second invitation for discussion. This is when you may comment on anything. Please, again, step up to the lectern, state your name, your address, and write the same on the clipboard, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Anyone wishing to comment, please step forward. Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting. And will the clerk please read the statement for introduction of ordinances?
Okay, the ordinance is scheduled for first reading, have a hearing date set for January the 23rd, 2017. All will be published in the Madison Eagle, posted on the bulletin board, and made available to members of the public requesting copies.
I call up ordinances for first reading and ask the Borough Clerk to read said ordinances by title.
Ordinance 1, 2017, ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $1,330,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund for the 2017 road reconstruction projects, related work, and miscellaneous projects.
Mayor, I move ordinance 1-2017.
Second that motion?
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Ordinance 2.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $1,136,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund for the 2017 milling and overlay projects.
Mayor, I move ordinance 2-2017.
Second that motion?
Any further council discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Ordinance 3, 2017.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $400,000 from the Water Capital Improvement Fund for water main replacement projects and related work on local roads.
Mayor, I move ordinance 3-2017.
I second that.
Any further council discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Ordinance 4, 2017.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison amending Chapter 14 of the Borough Code regarding indemnification of municipal officials and employees.
Mayor, I move ordinance 4-2017.
I'll second.
Any further council discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Clerk, please read the statement for consent agenda resolutions.
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mayor, I move resolution 33-2017 to resolution 43-2017.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? I just want to emphasize the comment that Ostry made before about the budget guidelines being in here. When the planning process presented the guidelines, the council made it a point of making sure this would be adopted on an annual basis to put it front and center to this council, to the staff, and to the residents of Madison. So I commend that, and as Ostry said, to support it, to show that we are following the guidelines. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
There is no unfinished business. Approval of vouchers.
Okay. Public safety, we have $63,660.24. Health and public assistance, $36,364.63. Public works and engineering, $211,004.30. Community affairs, $7,778.08. Finance and borough clerk, $4,499,162.29. Utilities, $736,122.02. The total is $5,554,091.56.
Mayor, I move for approval of the vouchers.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
And under new business, I would like to make the following appointments requiring council confirmation. For Downtown Development Commission, Larry Jason, at large for a 3-year term through December 31st, 2019. For Municipal Alliance Addressing Substance Abuse, John Hoover, at large for a 3-year term through December 31st, 2019. Recreation Advisory Committee, Pat Lucasavage, for a 1-year term through December 31st, 2017. For Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, Bill List, for a 1-year term through December 31st, 2017. And for Shade Tree Management Board, Brian Monahan, for a 5-year term through December 31st, 2020.
I'll move the appointments.
I second them.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
And Ms. Byrne.
Mayor, I move we adjourn this meeting.
Favor. All right, thank you. Well done. Tough act to follow. You did it well.
I didn't get in there fast enough.
Beginning.
What time? Oh, it's not even 9 o'clock.
Yes, oh, thank you.
So where in France are you going?
Okay, off to
No, not French, Europe.